Welcome to Alaska Weather. I'm Holloway with the National Weather Service for Alaska statewide weather. For April 21st, 2021, we have a couple options for you. A menu system on the phone and on the web at weather.gov/Alaska. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about the weather program, please email us at the email listed at the bottom of the page. So we need your help. People out there living next to rivers or flying, whether it's commercial aviation or whatever, pilots, if you could submit spotter reports, pictures, videos, and we have an option for you to submit reports. You can call the River Forecast Center here in Alaska down in Anchorage, 1-800-847-1739, or you can just email any information, any videos, any pictures, just general information at ndbs.ar.aprfc@noaa.gov. For the watch warnings and advisories, again today we don't have any watch warnings or advisories out for today, and that includes the North Slope as well, so pretty quiet in that arena. But we do have a little bit of weather. As everybody noticed today, we have a cold front moving through the central part of the state, bringing clouds and precipitation from basically all the way down through Kodiak Island, through South Central, up through Fairbanks, and out through the northwest coast. And that system's going to be continuing to move east here over the next 2 days. And we also have another low pressure system, or a weak trough, pushing through the Panhandle, bringing some clouds and precipitation over there. And lastly, we also have another system near the western Aleutians, bringing some clouds and light precipitation out that way as well. So what does this look like on the surface map? A 996 millibar low there with a weakening includer front, rain showers out ahead of that system. It's just light there. Otherwise, a 1021 millibar ridge of high pressure poking into the Bering Sea, with a 1028 millibar high over extreme eastern Russia. There's that front pushing through the central part of the mainland, and that cold front stretches from that low down through the Alaska Peninsula, bringing some light to maybe moderate rain showers across Kodiak Island, otherwise scattered snow showers across the interior and in through the northwest coast, with another low pressure system up there in the North Slope, 1005 millibars there. And then back down into the Gulf region, weakening low and a occluder front pushing through the Panhandle, bringing some light rain showers and maybe some snow showers across the higher elevations in the southeast interior and northern Panhandle. For tonight's weather, that low near the Aleutians continues to weaken. Now we're just a trough there with light rain showers there. That ridge of high pressure continues over the central Bering, 1018 millibars there. And that frontal system continues to move east through the mainland, and low pressure system analyzed in the Gulf of Alaska, 998 millibar low there, and a trough extending from that, bringing some lingering snow showers across the high country of the Panhandle and rain showers at the low elevations there, and a stationary front extending from the Yukon Alaska border out through British Columbia, and some fog along the North Slope with another low pressure system up there, 1003 millibars there. So for Saturday's weather, looking at Saturday morning, looking at a 996 millibar low there just south of the Aleutians, with a trough extending from that, bringing some light rainfall there. Otherwise, 1013 millibar low near the Bering Strait, and some lingering snow showers associated with that system continue moving east through the interior, connected to another low, 1004 millibars in the Prince William Sound region, and again some lingering snow showers and rain showers across the Panhandle. For Saturday afternoon, looking at that low near or south of the Alaska Peninsula, 998 millibar low there, with a low in the Bering Sea, 1010 millibars there. Some light rain and snow showers associated with those two systems across the Alaska Peninsula, with some rain showers into Kodiak and some snow showers across the higher elevations of the Alaska Peninsula. Otherwise, ridge builds in by Saturday. Once again, looking for some pretty good sunny weather on Saturday, 1016 millibars there. Otherwise, some lingering snow showers and rain showers at the elevations of the Panhandle. For low temperatures Friday morning for the Panhandle, looking at 40s across the Panhandle, with a 38 there in Yakutat, 34 in Valdez, 30s through South Central, with 34 in Anchorage, 28 in King Salmon, 36 in Kodiak. For high temperatures Friday afternoon, 40s maybe into 50 there at Haines, 46 in Yakutat, 47 in Valdez, 48 in Talkeetna, 46 in Anchorage, upper 40s through much of South Central and Kenai Peninsula. Kodiak Island, 48 there in Kodiak, the city of Kodiak, and King Salmon, 47. For low temperature Saturday morning, looking to drop back down into the 30s for much of the Panhandle, with a 41 there at Sitka, 35 in Yakutat, 33 in Valdez, 31 in Anchorage, 24 in Talkeetna, 26 in Kenai, 34 in Homer, 35 in Kodiak. High temperature Saturday afternoon, 50s poking into the Panhandle, with 52 in Ketchikan, 49 in Sitka, 46 in Yakutat, 48 in Anchorage, 50s and upper 40s through much of South Central, and a 51 there in King Salmon. For low temperatures Friday morning, looking at 20s through much of the interior, 29 in Fort Yukon, 13 in Ukqiavik, 14 in Point Hope, 17 in Nome. High temperatures Friday afternoon, looking at 40s, maybe in a 51 there at Eagle, 46 in Fort Yukon, 23 in Ukqiavik, 23 in Point Hope, and 28 in Nome. And for low temperatures Saturday morning, looking at 20s and upper teens through the Yukon Valley, with 19 in Galena, 18 in Tanana, 14 in Ukqiavik, 15 in Kaktovik, 11 in Anaktuvik Pass, and 18 in Nome. High temperature Saturday afternoon, looking at 45 in Fort Yukon, 40s through much of the interior, with 40 in Galena, 32 in Nome, 22 in Ukqiavik, 24 in Point Hope. Down through the southwest Alaska Peninsula and Aleutians, looking at 23 in Bethel, 29 in Dillingham, Cold Bay 31, Dutch Harbor 34, 37 in Shemya, 27 in St. Paul. For Friday afternoon temperatures, high temperatures looking at 35 in Bethel, 42 in Dillingham, 44 in Cold Bay, 42 in Dutch Harbor, 41 in Shemya, and 36 in St. Paul. For low temperature Saturday morning, looking at 22 in Antioch, 24 in Bethel, 30 in Dillingham, 35 in Cold Bay, 38 in Dutch Harbor, 35 in Shemya. And lastly, for high temperatures Saturday afternoon, looking at 47 in Antioch, Bethel 40, 44 in Dillingham, 44 in Cold Bay, 43 in Dutch Harbor, 42 in Shemya, St. Paul 39, and maybe even a 51 there back in Talkeetna.
And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
Taking a look at the aviation weather, starting with flying weather, we'll be watching a cold front exiting the eastern interior, and that extends down into the Gulf region. And that'll bring some IFR conditions through portions of the eastern interior, down through portions of the Panhandle and northeast Gulf Coast. Also some IFR conditions expected along the North Slope, Beaufort Sea coast, and finally down across much of the Bering Sea and Aleutians, and again for Friday morning. And then for Friday afternoon, again, that system continues to exit the state, reaching into the Yukon Territory now with areas of IFR conditions in the eastern interior, and that extends down into the Panhandle with IFR conditions there, also IFR conditions along the North Slope, and marginal conditions throughout much of the Brooks Range and portions of the Yukon Valley, and continued IFR conditions in the Bering Sea and Aleutians. For Saturday morning, high pressure begins to dominate. See the nice clearing there across much of the mainland, but otherwise continued IFR conditions along the North Slope, marginal conditions along the Brooks Range, and limited areas of IFR conditions along the Panhandle, otherwise areas of marginal conditions there. And finally, limited areas of IFR conditions in the central Aleutians and extending into the central Bering. Again, for Saturday afternoon, that high pressure dominates much of the mainland, nice clearing there. For Saturday afternoon, limited IFR conditions along the North Slope and IFR conditions down along the Alaska Peninsula and eastern Aleutians, and marginal conditions down across the Panhandle. Past conditions on Friday, AKwx Pass, marginal conditions, same for Adigan, Lake Clark and Merrill, VFR flying for Friday, and rainy, marginal, turning to VFR. Windy, same conditions there. Isabel, IFR, but improving to marginal. And Mentasta, IFR all day on Friday. And Tanita, marginal, improving to VFR. And Portage, marginal the entire day. Chilkoot and White, IFR conditions down there in the Panhandle. For freezing levels, Friday morning, we're looking at the surface freezing level cutting across the northern Panhandle into south central, down through the Alaska Peninsula into the central Bering, otherwise elevated freezing levels across the Aleutians and into the northern Gulf and out through the central Panhandle. For icing conditions on Friday, looking at isolated moderate conditions across much of the mainland, and that extends down into the southeast interior and also the southeast Panhandle as well, with isolated moderate there and areas of isolated moderate across the central Aleutians. For the jet stream on Friday, looking at several areas of low pressure across the mainland and into the Yukon Territory and over the southern end of the Panhandle, but otherwise the jet stream is running across the southwest region in northwesterly flow, 85 knots as you get into the Cook Inlet there. Otherwise, the northerly flow across the central Brooks Range into the North Slope, and as you get into the southern end of the Panhandle, maybe a touch of 30 knots there, just off the southern end of the Panhandle. For 9,000 foot winds on Friday, areas of low pressure across much of the state and Aleutians. Only weather or winds to really report looks like across the southern end of the Cook Inlet with 20 knots in a northerly fashion there. And then for 3,000 foot winds on Friday, again, weak areas of low pressure across the state with light and variable conditions across much of the mainland and across the Panhandle. And you have to get into the northern Gulf to find any decent winds up to 25 knots there, and also across the central Aleutians with 25 knots down there. For turbulence on Friday, looking at not too much areas across the state analyzed this morning. There is an area below 5,000 feet there in the central Aleutians, but otherwise some areas across we saw those stronger winds coming across the Cook Inlet there, and again analyzed below 5,000 feet, and that extends it over into the eastern Kenai Peninsula and portions of the Kodiak Island. Lastly, an area up there near the Alaska Range with some strong winds there and more northerly flow cutting across southerly flow cutting across the Alaska Range there, but again below 5,000 feet.
Howdy Moon Gazers, this week is the fourth full moon of 2021. It's a pink supermoon, but that doesn't mean that the moon will actually be pink. It's just going to be moon colored. The pink moon is the name given to the full moon of April, and supermoon isn't actually a scientific term. It really means that the moon is both full and at perigee, or the closest point in its slightly elliptical orbit. The astronomical term of note is one of my favorites, perigee syzygy. Yeah, so good! Love that term. Perigee is when the moon is closest to us in orbit, and syzygy is a line of three celestial bodies, in this case the moon, the earth, and the sun. At its furthest point, the moon is about 253,000 miles away, but on Tuesday it will be only 222,000. It may not seem like much, but even a small change in something as ever-present in the sky as the moon can make a big impact. So get your cameras ready and keep looking up.
Good evening, this is Crane Johnson with your April 29th, 2021 Alaska Breakup Outlook. Quick look at the Nenana Ice Classic tripod on my left. As of 9:30 this morning, it's still standing. We'll take a quick look at the three main components that help us evaluate breakup severity and timing. The first is ice thickness and strength, second is snowpack, and the third and most important component is the spring weather pattern, and that's the temperatures through the month of April and May that control both the snowmelt rate and the thermal condition and integrity of the ice. And that helps us evaluate whether we expect a mechanical breakup where ice jams are likely, or a thermal breakup or mush out where the ice just melts in place. If we look at ice conditions throughout the state, the map to the left shows accumulated freezing degree days, which is a proxy for ice thickness. And we can see the values near 100% or shades of blue indicate it's generally normal to slightly more than normal freezing degree days. And this matches well with ice measurements we've gotten throughout the state. In general, ice thicknesses are near normal throughout the state, with maybe slightly below normal ice thicknesses in the lower Yukon due to a deeper snowpack. In addition to the general ice measurements, we're concerned about areas of jumbled or thicker than normal ice. The two red circles indicate two of those areas. One is freeze-up jams that occurred between Eagle and Dawson. We've got thicker than normal ice in those locations. And then reports of freeze-up jams or thicker than normal ice on the Kuskokwim River near Birch Crossing, and then another spot downstream of AKwx. If we look at snowpack throughout the state, this is a map compiled by the NRCS on April 1st, and the real highlight is the deep blue in the upper Kuskokwim Basin, where we've got nearly 180% of the average snowpack for the upper Kuskokwim Basin. Generally, the rest of the state is near normal, slightly above, slightly below, with some additional snowfall in the month of April. This map will be updated May 1st by the NRCS. The other thing to note is that east of the US-Canada border, there's a well above average snowpack in the upper Yukon watershed. If we look at April temperatures, we'll start to the east in Eagle, and we can see that on this plot to the left, we've got temperatures from March 1st through today, which is the vertical dashed line. And we can see over the last 2 weeks, we've had above average temperatures in Eagle with near record highs on several days. To the right of the dashed line are the forecast temperatures, and we can see a cooling off period for a few days and then trending to near normal temperatures with the lows at Eagle still below 32 degrees or freezing. If we move towards interior Alaska, Fairbanks, we see a same pattern with above average temperatures for the last 2 weeks in April. Not quite as warm as Eagle. And then again, we see a cooler period for the next couple days and then trending towards normal temperatures. If we head further down onto the Kuskokwim in southwest Alaska, this is Bethel, we can see a similar pattern, but not quite as warm over the last 2 weeks. Above average temperatures, but nowhere near record highs. And then we can see a similar cooler period for the next several days and then trending towards warmer temperatures next week. And one thing to note here in Bethel is that we will begin to see low temperatures above 32 degrees. If we look at spatially our temperature outlooks, this is the CPC 6 to 10 day temperature outlook for the week ending May 9th. So this would be Monday through Friday next week. And we can see that in general, we expect chances are below normal temperatures in south central Alaska, with some warmer shades in northeast and very far southwest Alaska that could have above average temperatures. If we go a little further out, these are the week 2 temperature trends ending May 13th, and we see the same pattern with a bit stronger signal in northeast Alaska for chances are above average temperatures. If we pull those components together and look at our 2021 breakup outlook again, We expect that this year will trend towards mechanical breakup on Alaska's major rivers, which include the Kuskokwim, the Yukon, the Koyuk, other large rivers in interior Alaska. The one thing to note is that the flood potential is above average for both the upper Yukon due to that thicker than normal ice upstream of Eagle, and then also on the Kuskokwim River, primarily due to the well above average snowpack. Throughout the rest of the state, we generally have an average flood potential compared to other years. If we look at where we think we fall on the types of breakup, we believe we're trending more towards a mechanical breakup throughout the state where ice jams are possible. Here's a look at our breakup outlook map that was put out in mid-April. And you can see that on the Yukon River to the east, we've got Eagle and Circle listed as moderate, with the rest of the communities throughout the Yukon in the low to moderate range for flood potential. And then on the Kuskokwim River down to the southwest, we can see several communities with a moderate flood potential, and that reflects that above average snowpack with those areas of thicker than normal ice that we've identified. We'll take a quick look at what's happened since last Thursday in terms of breakup. Nikolai broke up on April 23rd. The 40 Mile River broke up on April 26th to 28th. That's a photo from the mouth of the 40 Mile River. Chin River's broken up just recently with ice jams through downtown Fairbanks that have cleared and water stayed within banks. And then currently, as of today, Thursday, April 29th, the ice is moving at sleep mute on the Kuskokwim River. If we look at what's next for the Weather Service in the state of Alaska, we've got the River Watch teams that'll head out early next week. We've got ongoing community reports and social media postings which help us understand and share back what's going on throughout the state in terms of breakup. And then we've got Civil Air Patrol flights scheduled for Thursday through Saturday this week of the Yukon and Kuskokwim rivers. One thing we always like to highlight this time of year is that as the ice loses strength, it's really the time to think twice before you head out on the ice. So know your local conditions before you head out. These are a few online resources. You can get our latest breakup outlooks, view the Alaska breakup map, the graphical flood potential map, and then as always, we need your observations either through web form, email, or by telephone. Thanks.
And now, marine weather around Alaska.
Taking a look at the marine forecast, starting with the ice edge, you can see that we have several areas of open, lower concentrations of ice down near the Waikiki Delta in Norton Sound, just south of St. Lawrence Island, off the off the Russian coast, and we expect this ice edge to slowly drift northward with the warming conditions across the state. Looking at the marine forecast for southeast, Friday, for inside waters, winds generally from a southeasterly direction, 15 to 25 with seas as high as 5 feet, and the outside waters, winds generally from a westerly direction at 15, seas as high as 7 feet. And for Saturday's forecast, inside waters, winds generally from the southerly direction 5 to 10 with seas as high as 2 feet. Outside waters, winds generally from a westerly direction 10 to 15 with seas as high as 7 feet. For South Central, Friday's marine forecast, Prince William Sound, winds generally from the northwest at 20, seas as high as 3 feet. For the Gulf region, winds generally from a westerly direction at 20 to 30 with seas as high as 7 feet. And for the Cook Inlet region, winds generally from a westerly direction 10 to 35 with seas as high as 14, so look for gale or even small craft advisories there on Friday. And for Saturday, for the Prince William Sound region, winds generally from the east at 10, seas as high as 2 feet. Gulf region, winds generally from a easterly direction up to 15 knots and seas as high as 7 feet. And for the Cook Inlet region, winds generally from the east at 10 to 20 with seas as high as 4 feet. For Friday's marine forecast, Alaska Peninsula, Kodiak Island, winds around Kodiak Island generally from the west at 20 to 25. South side of the Alaska Peninsula, winds generally from a northwesterly direction at 10, seas as high as 7 feet. North side of the Alaska Peninsula, winds generally from a northeasterly direction at 10 to 15 with seas as high as 4 feet. And for Saturday, around Kodiak Island, winds generally from the east at 10 to 15. And south side of Alaska Peninsula, winds generally from the east at 20, seas as high as 7 feet. And for the north side of Alaska Peninsula, winds generally from the east at 15 to 20, with seas as high as 3 feet there in Bristol Bay. For Aleutian Chain on Friday, winds generally from the east at 15 to 20, with seas as high as 7 feet. And for Aleutian Chain on Saturday, winds out of the north, 15 to 20, with seas as high as 6 feet. For the west coast, winds generally from the north at 10 to 15, with seas as high as 4 feet near the Pribs. And for Saturday, west coast, winds generally from the east at 10 to 20, with seas as high as 3 feet near St. Matthew Island. For Friday's marine forecast for Beaufort Sea coast, Arctic coast, winds generally from the east at 15, with seas, no seas there. And then for northwest coast, winds generally from a variable direction, 10 to 20, and down through the Bering Strait, winds generally from a northerly direction, 10 to 20. And for Saturday, along Beaufort Sea coast, winds generally from the east at 10, and down through the Chukchi Sea coast, winds generally from the south at 10 to 15, and down through the Bering Strait region, winds generally from a variable direction, 10 to 15 as well. For tonight's weather, weak low south of Aleutians and a trough associated with that system bringing some light rain across the Aleutians. Ridge of high pressure poking into the Bering Sea, 1,018 millibars there, and a cold front pushing through the mainland that extends down into the Gulf region, 998 millibar low in the Gulf, bringing some rain showers at the lower elevations and maybe a few snow showers in the Panhandle, mountains of the Panhandle. Otherwise, some snow showers up to the interior and out through the northwest coast. Fog along the Arctic coast as well. For Friday's weather, looking at that low south of the Aleutians, a 996 millibar low with a weak trough again. Light rain showers associated with that system. Otherwise, we will see that cold front moving further east on Friday, 1,004 millibar low in the Gulf, lingering snow showers in the Copper River Basin, Alaska Range, and a few snow showers and lingering rain showers across the Panhandle, with snow showers along the Brooks Range and North Slope around a trough, around another low at 1,008 millibars.
These forecasts are for planning purposes only. Call 1-800-WX-BRIEF for a formal pre-flight briefing. Always file a flight plan before you go flying. The U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary urges you to leave a float plan with a friend or the harbor master before you go boating.